Hello and welcome to Hackers Academy Hacking for Beginners course. My name is Tariq and I'm going to be your instructor for this course. This is the prerequisite course to all other trainings at Hackers Academy. Once you understand the concepts and the fundamentals in this course, you're going to be able to move comfortably throughout the other courses and throughout the other trainings at Hackers Academy. You're probably here because you want to learn hacking, but you don't know where to start, you don't know where to begin. There's so much conflicting information out there on what to do and how to begin and what to be experimenting with and what to be reading and so on. So I don't blame you if you're confused, and I also don't blame you if you want to become a hacker. Because our world has been made much better by some brilliant hackers. People like Jobs and Wozniak and Bill Gates, they all started as hackers. And they contributed so much to our world. Imagine if our world today didn't have a Jobs or a Gates or a Wozniak in it. If we didn't have the Apple products or the Microsoft products. These guys started as hackers. So what is a hacker? Did they start by breaking into things and causing havoc and causing damage? This is where we would like to draw a very clear distinction. Because unfortunately, because of the media and what you see in the movies, people have a negative association to the word hacker and hacking. But as a matter of fact, a hacker is simply somebody who has this ferocious curiosity that wants to understand how things work and how things operate, who likes to take things apart and tinker with them and make them better and improve on them. This is what a hacker is. This is how Jobs and Wozniak and Gates started. They just wanted to build things that are better. They wanted to build a better computer. They wanted to build a better operating system. They took what was there. They pulled it apart. They understood exactly how it works and they improved on it. In essence, this is what a hacker is. So if you're someone with this curiosity, if you're someone who wants to understand how things work, who wants to break things apart and who wants to improve upon things, if this is the attitude you're bringing into this course, then brilliant. Because this is exactly what is required for you to become an excellent hacker. And who knows, maybe you're going to be the next Jobs or the next Gates. So let's clarify exactly what do we mean by hacking. And who better to clarify this than one of the most brilliant hackers of our time? Did you know that the founder of Facebook is a hacker? These are some actual quotes that were written by him. And this is what he says. In reality, hacking just means building something quickly or testing the boundaries of what can be done. It's not about causing damage or being malicious or causing havoc. This is the misconception about hacking. He says hacking is also an inherently hands-on and active discipline. Absolutely. You cannot be learning hacking by just reading books and watching videos. Throughout this course, you're going to be experiencing firsthand some hacking tools and how does it feel to break into a remote system. And the hacker culture is also extremely open. It's open to sharing. It's open to giving. And you're going to experience this at the Hackers Academy forums. You're going to see what exactly we mean when we talk about being open. At Facebook, Mark says that we have cultivated a unique culture and management approach that we call the hacker way. They are so proud of being hackers, so proud of making the world a better place, so proud of improving on the way we communicate and in the way that we network, such that they have the hacker way at Facebook. At Hackers Academy, we also have the Hackers Academy way. At Hackers Academy, we highly encourage you to master the basics. We all heard of the saying that says, you cannot build a tall building on weak foundations. This is the foundational course. This is the course that you want to have a solid grip on. You want to be able to understand all these concepts in this course and be comfortable with everything we're talking about and explaining. Once you master these basics, then you can move on. And how do you master these basics? By practicing, and practicing. Mark said that hacking is a hands-on and active discipline. Unless you practice, you're not going to understand the full extent of the concepts that we're going to be sharing with you in this course. Just like any discipline, hacking requires practice. If you want to learn swimming, or if you want to learn driving or flying a plane, you could read 1 million books on these topics, but unless you actually go and practice, you're not going to be able to swim or drive or fly. You could read 1 million books and watch 1 million videos on hacking, but unless you go and practice, you cannot understand the full extent of what we're talking about. Mind you, you have to do this legally always. And throughout this course, we're going to be teaching you how to set up your own lab so you can practice whenever you want, however you want. The second step of the Hackers Academy way is to share knowledge. Like Mark said, the hacker culture is extremely open. And once you understand the practicalities of what you're learning, share your knowledge. Go back to the Hackers Academy forums and answer questions. Some of your colleagues might have questions, might be stuck somewhere. Answer the questions if you know the answer. If you've read an article that you found interesting, share it. If you discovered a tool that you found interesting, share it. Be open and share your knowledge. Because the more you share, the more you learn, the more your knowledge will expand. And when you're comfortable with the concepts that you've learned, it is time to learn some more. It's time to start building on top of these foundations. The ethical hacking world is so vast. You could be specializing in so many different things. You could be specializing in network hacking, operating system hacking, wireless network hacking, web application hacking, mobile application hacking. It just doesn't end. And this is the beauty of the world of ethical hacking. There is so much to discover. But you can only do that once you've built a solid foundation, you understood the practicalities of it, and you start then expanding your knowledge. And last but not least, repeat. You practice, spread and share the knowledge, and then learn some more. And this is how you become an exceptional hacker. So where do I begin? This is the biggest question that you probably are asking yourself right now. And this is why you're here. This is why you're watching this video. Before I tell you where to begin, let me address some of the biggest misconceptions that are out there. You ask this question to 10 people and you would have 10 different answers, each more confusing than the other. Unfortunately, there's a lot of information out there that creates more confusion than clarity. And one of the most confusing answers is that for you to begin to learn hacking, you have to learn programming and scripting and this language and that language. The truth of the matter is, if you're just beginning, you've never done any kind of hacking before, you're an absolute beginner and you want to begin somewhere, programming and scripting can wait. Now, let me be very clear on this, because I know some people are going to come back to me and they're going to be so upset about this thing. How can you say that? How can you become a hacker and not know programming and scripting? That's not what I'm saying. If you think that Mark created Facebook without knowing how to program, you would be very wrong. He's an exceptional programmer. And this is why he's an exceptional hacker. All I'm saying is for you to begin now, programming and scripting can wait. Later on, you absolutely, definitely must learn how to program and how to script. Without it, you cannot be a great hacker. But for now, to begin, you do not need that. You're going to see that by the end of this course, you'll break into a remote system without writing a single line of code and without reading a single line of code. Once you have the foundations, once you understand all this, then later on, go knock yourself out. Learn as many programming languages as you want and as many scripting languages as you want. But for now, there's no need to put off learning hacking and go spend 2, 3, or 4 months trying to learn a programming language. Then you'll have somebody who says, you need to learn how to use these tools and those tools and 100 other tools. As somebody who's new to the world of ethical hacking, you might be thinking that learning as many tools as you can is the way forward. Unfortunately, if you do not understand how these tools work or what do they do and what are they based on, you might be ending up causing more damage. And there's a very good chance that you're not going to get the result that you want out of these tools. You need to understand how tools work and how you can tinker it and sometimes even modify it so you can get what you want out of it. Luckily for us though, as you progress throughout this course, you're going to find out that most of the hacking tools fall under a very limited number of categories. So for example, you are going to discover that some tools fall under the category of port scanning, vulnerability scanning, online password attacks, offline password cracking, and so on. There might be dozens of tools under each category, but the important thing to get out of this is that you understand exactly what each category means. So when we're talking about port scanning, for example, what is port scanning and how does it work? Then you can move on to picking and choosing the tool that you prefer over the other tools. By the way, if you don't know what port scanning is, don't worry, you're going to be discovering this later on. Then you'll have some people that say, you cannot become a hacker unless you learn this operating system or that operating system. If you don't know Linux, you're not a hacker. If you don't know Unix, you're not a hacker. Well, Again, guys, remember here we're talking about beginning, where to begin. This is the first step into the world of ethical hacking. And I want to keep it as simplified as possible for you. Yes, later on you definitely must learn Linux and Unix. If you're taking this as a step into a career of ethical hacking, there's a very good chance that later on when you're doing security assessments, you are going to come across targets that are Linux and Unix based. And if you don't know your way around these operating systems, even if you break into that system, your security assessment will come to a stop and you wouldn't be able to progress any further if you're not comfortable with these operating systems. For now though, we want to keep things simple. So from your Windows machine, you're going to be doing everything in this course. You're going to be installing all the tools and breaking into a remote system without having the need to learn any Linux commands. By the way, the target that we have set up for you is a Linux box, so you are going to be compromising a Linux machine. We'll be teaching you very few commands that you're going to be needing, but that's about it. If you want to explore Linux later on, we have a complete course for you. You'll also have some opinionated people that say, you have to read these books and those books, and without these books you cannot even begin to learn hacking. I admit, very proudly, that I am a bookworm. I love reading and consuming books. When I was doing my master's thesis, I probably read around 25 to 30 books in the span of 3 months, and I still consume books ferociously. I love to read. Having said that, remember that we said hacking is a hands-on and active discipline. And what we aim to do with this course is to get you diving into the practice exercises as soon as possible. Reading books is all good and well, but unless you practice, there is no moving forward. Then you'll have some groups that will say, for you to become a hacker, you have to fight authority and fight the mainstream. I'm not going to dwell too much on this. If this is why you're here, you're in the wrong place. We at Hackers Academy do not advocate this. As a matter of fact, we strongly oppose this. You're watching this video because you're probably a student at school or university and you're wanting to expand your knowledge, or you're a professional with a job who's looking to expand his skill set. Either way, fighting authority and fighting the mainstream is going to get you in trouble and is unethical. At Hackers Academy, we aim to be the best ethical hackers that we can be. So, having said all that, how do you approach this course? You'll notice that this course is divided into easy to digest bite sizes, small easy to follow sections. Make sure you understand every section before you move on, because the new sections build up on the previous ones. And unless you fully and completely understand the previous sections, you might find it difficult moving forward. To help you fully understand these sections, we've included missions or practical exercises at the end of every section. Make sure you complete these missions. Once you complete them, record your success. Take notes, take screenshots, write a small report. Whatever you do, make sure that you record your success because there's a very valuable prize waiting for you. I'm going to give you a small hint on what it is. We at Hackers Academy believe in rewarding excellent students that work hard. We do not believe that an excellent student who excelled at a course should be paying the same amount for the next course as the average student. So does that give you a small idea of what to expect? Good. So make sure you record your success. Send it to us by the end of every section or by the end of the course. We're going to review it and go over it. And based on how well you performed, you are going to be getting a valuable prize moving into the next course. Now, I know some of you talking about missions and exercises are a little bit concerned, thinking, what if I got stuck? Here's what you do if you get stuck. Replay the section video at least 2 to 3 times. There are some times when the core concept of the video would be hanging on a small sentence or a small paragraph that you might have missed for one reason or another. Maybe I'm talking too fast, maybe it's my accent, whatever it is. If you missed it, double check, make sure that you rewind the video, play it a couple of times, just to make sure that you went through the whole material. If that does not help, do a bit of online search. Start getting used to finding answers on your own. Be curious, do some research, look around, ask some questions. If that does not help, if you still don't find an answer, come and ask us on the Hackers Academy forum. It is one of the friendliest forums out there. All we ask for you to do is that when you ask your question, make it clear that you've done your homework. If you got stuck, do not give up in 2 seconds and jump on the forum and ask the question. Show us that you've done a bit of research, that you've done a little bit of homework. In your question, tell us that you've looked into this, you've looked into that, and that still doesn't help. So now you're on the Hackers Academy forum asking your question, and we'd be more than happy to answer it. If you still do not get an answer on the forum, which is very highly unlikely, drop your teacher an email. For this course, I'm your instructor, obviously. So drop me an email and I would be more than happy to answer. In other courses, you might have one or more than one teacher. Send them an email and I assure you they would be more than happy to get back to you. So here's what we're going to be learning in this course. First and foremost, we'll be talking about what the internet is and how does it work. It might sound trivial to you now, but believe me, there's more to it than what you think. Then we're going to be talking about internet protocols, what they are, how they work, and we move into services and ports. By the way, if all of this sounds Greek to you now and you don't understand what this is, don't worry. I do not expect you to know what this is. As a matter of fact, if you know what all this is, you probably shouldn't be taking this course and you can move on to the more advanced courses. Then we'll move into the 4 basic elements that you need to hack into any remote system. We'll dissect these elements, we'll talk about what they are and how you can get each and every one of them so you can execute a successful hack. Then we'll roll our sleeves and get down and dirty into packets. You are going to see how packets travel from your machine to the remote machine and dissect them and look into each and every packet. Now we're going to be talking about other common protocols that we see on the internet and how we can use them to our advantage. The following section is the one where we get our hands on our first hacking tool. We're going to be doing some port scanning, then moving to another hacking tool, doing a vulnerability scan, finding out the vulnerabilities that we're going to exploit, and last but not least, we're going to be taking advantage of these vulnerabilities, exploiting them, and gaining full remote access over our target system. So without any further delay, let's get started.